Hello everyone, this is Gayle, and I know you can look at this and say, she's already done this tutorial because I'm using the exact same colors that I did for our pumpkin, except now I think I'm going to make, well I don't think, now I'm going to make a leaf cane to go with it, because it's always good to have those together. So you'll see I'm pressing my orange and my yellow together. I'm going to make another Skinner blend. And I'm just pressing the seams together. And I'm going to take, I didn't show you this before, I showed you the after effect. I'm just going to take a little sliver, just a little sliver of the brown. And I'm going to roll it through my pasta machine at the thinnest setting, which is a number 9. And it just makes this little thing here. And I'm going to lay this on the orange just to kind of mute the orange a little bit. You saw that on the pumpkin cane, but I just wanted to show you how I came up with that. So I'm going to run this through as a Skinner blend, and then I'll be back. Took a break for a second because I want to show you. I'm running this through at the number 3 setting, which is the third thickest setting, and it's coming up a little bit too wide. I want to keep this a little bit narrower. So Marla Frankenberg called this the smock and pooch, where she just kind of shoved things together like this, and then put it through the pasta machine. And let me get this end, it's a little bit better. And this makes it narrower. Let me run it through the pasta machine. There. Now what I had before was about 4 inches wide, and this is only 3 inches wide. And I'm going to put my spacers on here. I had someone ask me about this, and I will mention it again. This is nothing but a good strong bar magnet. I covered it in scrap clay, and then after I covered it in clay, I pressed it against the roller. See the little curve in it? And now when I want to keep my Skinner blends or anything in within a certain range, as you do your Skinner blends, it will progressively get wider and wider and wider until it's as wide as your pasta machine. When you do that, sometimes you end up where it's short and wide, and you don't want that. You want it to be narrower. So I'm going to put this on there. My pasta machine is normally 5.5 inches, so I'll put this on here. So this is about 2 inches, I believe. Yeah, this is 2 inches. So this will keep the cane. I'm going to lay the curved part on the roller of my pasta machine, and it'll keep the sheet from going past this. It's really a neat trick, but one that I thought I should tell you about again in case you haven't seen it in my other videos. So I'm going to continue doing this Skinner blend, and then I'll be back. Alright, as you can see, I'm not even going to fully blend the Skinner blend. And the reason is, you know, leaves are variegated, and this way it might leave some variation in color. So what I'm going to do, this is rolled out on the number 3. I'm going to fold it in half because it's so long, and pinch it to get the air out. And then I'm going to fold it again. And I'm going to turn my pasta machine back to the thickest setting because this is now pretty thick. See how thick it got? And you want it to go through at a nice smooth setting. And there's a little bit of air right there. So I'm going to run this through at my thickest setting. Okay, and I'm going to run it through at a number 3 again. So now we've made it a little bit longer. So I'm going to go through at a number 5. And I'm going to go down to a number 7. And I think that ought to be enough. Okay, you can see how long this is now. Now instead of rolling this up like I normally do, let me wipe this off if I can do it without my clay sticking together. I'm going to fan fold this. Let me start at the end. And it's not going to matter about that little tongue there. So I'm going to do this about 1.5 inches wide. And just like I said, it's a fan fold. I didn't fold this very straight. And I'm just going to fold back and forth. So instead of having a bullseye cane with the yellow in the middle, push your air out as you go, but with the yellow in the middle and the orange on the outside, I'm going to put yellow on one side, and it will gradually go into orange. And you just continue folding. If you mess up like that, don't worry. As long as you press the air out, you'll be fine. I'm messing up my ends here, trying to pass it back and forth. Let me see if I can separate this, or may have to roll that through the pasta machine again. I'll see how it turns out if I need it. Probably should. See how this got stuck together? I'm just going to kind of fold it over and run it through the pasta machine again. And I'm just going to lay it on this way this time. It doesn't really matter when you get to the orange end. There. So let me pick this up. So now you see we have this fan folded piece of clay that's from yellow to orange. Now what I'm going to have to do is I need this to be the wide part. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start pressing in and pressing down. And we're going to make this wide and fat. And you can take it with your roller if you want, just to make sure it stays flat. I'm not pressing to lengthen, I'm just making this flat. Let's push it in some more. There's some more air. See how I've gone from it being skinny to being a little bit fatter. Now what I'm going to do, let's see how wide this is now. It's 2 inches. So I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off of one side and a 1/2 inch off the other side. So now I've got 3 pieces. Now I want this, it's going to go like this. We're going to go like this to make it into a 3-part leaf. Let me come in just a little bit. I don't want to come in so far that I'll lose you in the camera. So in order to do that, I need to cut this corner off. And then that would fit on like that. And I should cut this corner off. So that this goes together like that. So that's going to be our basic leaf. Now what I'm going to do with these pieces that I took off is I'm going to put them down here at the bottom. Just pinching them a little bit. And it doesn't matter that there's some orange on there. Actually, I probably should have put these out here on this outside, but that's all right. We'll shape it. And you can start pinching if you want, just to help keep these from sticking together. You can pinch this a little bit. That's going to stick there, so you want to pinch this a little bit so that you have an idea. This is going to be not really a maple leaf, but a 3-lobed leaf. And getting this is not the final point. This is just something that's going to help you determine where you go from here. So there's our basic shape. Now from here, I'm going to cut down the center. But I'm leaving it together. And I'm going to cut down the center here. Let me make this even. I'm going to cut down the center here. Probably ought to get a sharper knife for this, but I'm going to leave that together. And I need to cut down here. And leave that together. Now we can separate these out. I can pull this off, set it there, pull this off and set it here. So now I've got these 2 halves. Now I'm going to take my brown and I'm going to roll it out on a number 5 setting. And I'm just going to lay that right here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, take half of your centerpiece, and let's make a few slices in this. Let's put a slice there and a slice there. You with me so far? So you want your veins to go in here. So you want to take this piece and lay it on the brown. And don't worry about those air pockets. Those will go away as we go along. And just cut out that out. And put it back. So now I'm going to take the second one off. I'm going to lay that down. And I'll lay that on that where I cut so I don't have to worry about that cut again. Okay. And lay that back there. And you'll see them better after we cut this end off. But I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to make a cut here and a cut here. And do the exact same thing. Now once I finish with the large one, I'm going to stop the camera and I'm going to do the exact same thing with the little ones with just one exception, and I will do that before I stop the camera. I just want you to see what I'm doing. So just got to remember which way it came off. Goes that way. Now I'm going to take the whole half. See, this has got their things in it. And I'm going to take the whole half and lay it here. Actually, I'll go ahead and lay both of them on there. I'm going to do it on both. You don't have to do it on both, but I like my stem to be a little bit thicker than the veins. So having let me get, it's hard to talk and think all at the same time. So I've got that one. And this one. I'm going to put them together. I'll show you this side. Now I'm going to trim this little bit off the top because I don't want the stem coming up over the end of the leaf. So just look at the top of it, and if it looks like it's going to be a mess, just you can take a toothpick and press it back down. You can do anything as long as there's no brown hanging up there. And then pinch your ends together again. Okay, now the only difference I'm going to do with the sides and I should have done this before I separated them, is where this cut comes through the center. I want it to come all the way over here to the vein. same thing here. Let me line this up. And then lay this on here. Thought I trimmed that side, but I must not have. Because you want this vein to come all the way through to the center, because it's all part of the same leaf. So let's, you can just follow the cut again and pull this out. And follow along here. This is already cut. And this is cut. I pulled it loose when I picked it up, but just pick it up and lay it back on. And then put this back in place. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing with these. I'm going to cut here and here and there and there, and I'm going to put veins in that part, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll be back. Okay. I've got all of my veins in there, and I know you're probably thinking, well, that doesn't look much like a leaf. But now we get to shape it. So you can press in and shape this. And you can shape this part, maybe bring it out a little bit more. I want to keep this separated where the veins are. But just kind of make it into a shape that's pleasing to you. And right now our cane is about 3/4 of an inch thick. But one thing that we haven't done yet is a stem. Now, and I didn't condition my white clay yet, I'm going to wrap this in, I probably ought to wrap it in something a little bit different from white. I keep messing with this vein, I'm going to lose it. But let me condition my background clay, and we'll make our stem, and then we'll wrap it and then start reducing it. So I'll be right back. Okay, you can see I took the white and decided I didn't want a bright white around the leaf. So I added some yellow. I took the rest of my sunshine. This is all Primo clay. I took the rest of my sunshine and I mixed that with the white, and that was too yellow. So then I added a little touch of brown, just a little sliver like I did with the Skinner blend, and blended that so it's still a yellowish color, but it's not a bright yellow like this is. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to get this, I rolled it into a circle, and I'm trying to get it about the same thickness as my cane. So I shoved the piece that I had done from my little stem right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the bottom of this circle. Then I'm going to cut it in half. And then I'm going to make a stem. Well, I'm looking at it from the wrong angle. Let me do this again. I need it to be as deep as the cane. So it needs to be about 3/4 of an inch long. That's about an inch, and I'm going to cut this end off. I'm going to lay this against here. And this has a little bit of a narrow end, so I'm putting the narrow end at the top. Make sure it touches the edge on all of your outline clay. And then put the other side back on. Well, I still ended up with the fat end at the top. You know how a stem comes out? I should have gone out and gotten a leaf so you could see what they look like. A little bit narrower up at the leaf, and then it gets wider as you go out. But this is going to be our stem. And I'm going to lay this right here and mold it to my leaf. Now I know you guys probably freaked out when I started cutting into my cane to make the veins, but I'm going to do it again. I'm not going to do a whole lot, but I'm thinking I'm going to, let me cut this in half. So I've got some sharp angles. But I'm thinking what I want to do is I want to cut a little groove in here. And I'm going to cut a little sliver of pie shape out of this clay. I'm going to shove that down in there. And I think I'm going to do another one here. Just to kind of add some different shape to this so it's not just a plain 3-lobed leaf. Cut another slice of pie. And look at the end. You want it to be straight, so just trim it off so that it's straight on the end. And put that down in that little crevice. Now the easiest thing is to trim this off. You can leave it on and then fill in with other clay, but I think I'm going to just do it this way. For me, it's easier to do all of my background at the same time rather than trying to cut little pieces. See, this can be a smaller sliver or a smaller piece of pie. And just do this around a little bit, you know, just to add a little interest. Now this is absolutely optional. You don't have to do this. And then I'll do at least one on this one. Of course, this takes just a small little piece of pie. If I keep talking like that, I'm going to get hungry. And I'll do one over here. But you need to play sometimes and, you know, experiment with your canes. Cut into them and see what you can do. It's only clay. So there we go. So now we need to, you can take these pieces that you've cut off and find where they might fit in here. And remember, you're trying not to leave any spaces for air. Just find a place that it fits. Let's see. This one will go in there. But you want to get this to where it looks like a round cane. So just add these pieces. So there's a little bit of space in there I don't really want. There. Close that up. And what I'm going to do with this piece that I trimmed off, I'm just going to slice it. Sure would have been easier if I had a sharper blade out. I'm going to go around this. Needs to be wider. Going to go around this point. Let me get a sharp my Lucy blade. This blade scares me, it's so sharp. Just pinch it a little wider so that it'll go around here. And this is another time that you can maybe pinch this point to where you want it before you wrap it. And then the wrap will help to maintain that point. And then you just continue wrapping. go ahead and slice these pieces all at one time. I'm going to do as much of this as I can. It goes this way. But just try to fill in these gaps as best as you can. I'm not saying this is going to be a great cane, but I think you're going to be surprised at how cute it is after we get it all done. I'll make this one a little rounder to fill in this little round place. And I guess I'll just put this here. I want to use it all. I could have used a little bit more to come out here because I did want to make this into a round cane. Because it's easier to reduce it if it's round. But I'm going to let this rest, and I'll come back. It'll probably be, to you it'll only be a couple seconds. To me it's going to be tomorrow. But I'll come back tomorrow after it's rested, and we will finish reducing this, and then so you can see the pretty leaf cane that we made. So I will be back in a few minutes. Bye-bye. Hi everyone. It's actually the same day. I did manage to get in here. It's been about 3 or 4 hours that this has been sitting, so it should all be the same temperature now. So I'm just going to start pressing on the sides. And as you press, you'll see it starts to get thicker, but it also creates this little waste, we like to call it. And you can work up from that waste to make it the same. See how that straightened out this side? And now I'll straighten out this side. Just by pressing, and try to press up from the bottom. It just helps things to not get too deformed. But see, we've gone already about double the thickness, which means it's only about half as big. So let me just, and I'm reducing this round. After it gets reduced, I will probably adjust it a little bit because I don't want it to be too far out of shape. But I'm going to put this on fast forward so you don't have to sit and watch everything I do. So I'll be right back. Okay, you can see I cut some of this. I cut it a big end off there and a big end off here. These are the ends off of this cane, but I just wanted to reduce part of it But this is about, what is it? About a 1/2 inch wide. If you look at my grid, it's about a 1/2 inch. And what I'm going to do with these, here it is you know, these can be charms to, if I reduce the pumpkin cane to the same size, then this would make nice beads to go in between. Put a pumpkin and then a leaf and then a pumpkin and then a leaf and then a pumpkin and a leaf, and it would make a nice bracelet. I don't happen to have a link bracelet that I can put these on, but again, I'm going to cut this in half because I don't want, if I mess it up, I don't want to mess up all of it. So let me get my Lucy blade back out. I would normally use my Lucy cutter to slice these. And let me use my Marks It. I'm going to use the smallest. And I allowed a little bit to slice off the end. I really don't need to do this end. That can be my back side. And now I'm going to cut these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now these did flatten out, but it's easy just to pull them back out into a circle. And what I would do is, let me get a couple of these reshaped. And they don't have to be perfectly round. They kind of, you know, they are homemade. But what I would do is to take my needle tool and poke a hole. Decide where you want it. Do you want it in the bottom of the leaf or in the top? And I think I'm going to put it in the top. And I'm just going to put a hole. And I'm going to go all the way through. And what I'll do is put a jump ring in this to connect it to a chain link. Let me do another one. Just go in from both sides so that your holes are clean. But there's 3 of them. But that would make a really nice bead for a fall bracelet. Or you could make earrings. The reason I didn't reduce all of this is because I wanted to have some in case I wanted to make a pendant or if I wanted to decorate something else. But there you go. There is a maple leaf cane or something similar. Sorry you can't see that. Let me move in a little closer. So there you go. So I hope you like this and add it to your pumpkin cane. Make your pumpkins and do the same thing. Reduce it down and put a hole in the top, and then you can make a really cute bracelet. I'm going to go ahead and finish these, and if I can find something around here to use as a link bracelet, I will go ahead and put one together so you can see what it looks like. So I hope you enjoyed this. Come back again next Monday for another polymer clay video. Bye-bye.